It's April 13th, 2012, just around 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and I'm standing beside the Dicksonia antarctica in our garden here, the Tasmanian tree fern. And maybe you can see from there the koshiers coming out, the fiddleheads. I'll stand up on this ledge here, put the screen back, and maybe you can get a better picture up here if you can see with the camera. There's a fiddlehead there that's out already about 2 feet, and there's about 2 dozen more that are coming out of the inner crown of this monster fern. It's doing really well. This fern has been here. I planted it just about 2 decades ago, and it really likes this warm alcove on the northwest corner of our house. And as you can see, it stays perfectly green here in the winter, and there's only been a couple of winters here in the 2 decades that I planted it that the leaves have browned from cold. Temperatures below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 6.5, you're going to see browning of these fronds. So it's not often, even in the worst winters, it gets to below minus 6.5 where this tree fern goes. I have 2 more on the other side of the house, on the northeast side, growing in just about full shade. This one here, they will take full sun at this latitude, by the way. And these ferns in time can grow 30 feet of trunk easily. This one has 58 inches of trunk or so, and just thriving. The fronds on it, I guess, are about 8 foot in length. And like I say, every year at this time it puts out lots of new fronds, about 2 dozen new fronds. This is a Trachycarpus fortunei palm growing beside it here, Chinese windmill palm, and there's hundreds of them growing around the base. I just chuck seed around and they grow. So this is one to try here in a temperate region if you're living on Salt Spring Island and you want to try something different in your garden. The Tasmanian tree fern, Dicksonia antarctica. There's also Dicksonia fibrosa, sclerosa, and there's a few other ones. This one seems to be pretty hardy in our climate. I do like to protect the inner crown with burlap for the winter. That's the most tender part of the fern. I don't worry about the fronds. Even if they did freeze off in the worst winter, they're always going to regrow back. And I usually end up cutting them off anyway, because by late summer, some of these ones are going to be, or even by midsummer, they're going to start to brown. So I get rid of them. And just that, you know, I mean, there's a new flush of fronds, so that replaces these ones anyway. At one time, when this was growing in the shade, there used to be a lot of trees in behind the camera there, and in the shade it had a much longer ferns, up to 10 foot in length, so quite the prehistoric plant. And they do come from Tasmania. This one was imported from Tasmania in 1991. So there's some of them growing in Vancouver in private gardens. A little colder there in the winter, so they need a little bit more protection, but here in Salt Spring Island I have seen them growing in private gardens, and I know where some other nice ones grow. It's quite the spectacular exotic species of plant, and sort of a real eye catcher. When people look through my garden and I show them this plant, they're just like kind of blown away by the size of it. You have to see it in person, and it doesn't really do it any justice on this video camera here. It is healthy. I fertilize it from the top, by the way. I fish fertilizer, liquid fish fertilizer down the crown, and because the whole root system, or sorry, the whole trunk is comprised of a root system. And it's growing in deep sort of peat moss and topsoil right in the ground, and I just love it. And even on the hottest winter days, like I say, it'll get up to 30 degrees plus in this corner here, Celsius, and it doesn't flinch, it doesn't even brown because of the coastal influence. We're only about 900 feet or so from the Pacific Ocean here, so it does moderate the temperatures, and even in the winter time it's don't phase on it. Grab you that and I'll show you the fronds coming up so you can get a better look. You can see them from here, right there. If you see the center of the crown, you see the big fiddleheads coming up right there. And we'll get up closer and we'll push this camera down inside here. You can see the fiddleheads there all around here. Okay, that's the inner crown fiddlehead here. Giant fiddleheads. No, I'm not going to eat those either, because they're probably, I don't know if they're even edible or not, but there are certain fiddleheads you can eat. I don't know about the Dicksonia antarctica ones, but you can see it's kind of fuzzy, huh? I know when these things start to unfurl, the hummingbirds like to take some of the fuzz off and probably use it for their nests. So that's the way the fern's looking today. Here's the rest of the trunk. Here, big trunk. Give you an idea how big it is. There's the hand. It's for scale. It's really big. It's even thicker at the top here too. It's a really big trunk, and these are the stems or the petioles left from the fronds that have cut off from the past there. So, and you can see all the palm trees growing around. Different types of palm trees, mostly Trachycarpus. That's Camidori radicalis there. But anyway, That's just an update on the big fern in our garden here. The screen is up here, by the way, to keep the cats out, because they would like to use this as a scratching pole, and a fern this size is a costly plant, and we don't want the kitty cats ruining it. You know what I mean? They like to scratch on everything. There it is, soaking up the April sunshine on Salt Spring Island, on the very north end of the island, on this gorgeous day with not a cloud in the sky. Just perfect out here. My kind of spring weather.